All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. All right, new music on the docket, ladies and gentlemen. A band that many American audiences never fully understood or embraced, even though in the late 1980s they were touring with bands like Foreigner and other notable bands. You'd have to go through their history to find out, but they were often an opening band for, the headlining group, which many here in the States either knew from the fact that they were an American band or were just really popular at that moment. The band is called FM, like FM radio, and they've been around for quite some time, since the 1980s. They feature a vocalist by the name of Steve Overland, who is just amazing, has such an amazing voice. And Steve Overland reminds us that in the old days, vocalists used to have very distinctive styles. They didn't all sound like Cookie Monster. They weren't all dark and creepy. Steve Overland, hard to describe him. You might think a little bit of Lou Gramm or Paul Rodgers. But his voice is still unique and very Steve Overland. It'd be easier to compare someone else to Steve than trying to compare Steve to other people. Certainly, when you talk about the group FM, you've got to talk about the British rock tradition. Again, groups like Bad Company and King, which is a pretty popular group right now over in Great Britain. But there are other bands from the past that they borrow from as far as their sound. Their new album's called Synchronized. I was fortunate enough to be able to review this before the pandemic hit because I got the album earlier and then the album was delayed. It is finally out, came out on the 22nd. Again, it's called Synchronized. My full review is available on my blog. But here's a couple of the other artists they've opened up for. Tina Turner and Meatloaf. And I did mention Foreigner. In recent years, the band has created some very impressive melodic rock, the kind other bands can't seem to make anymore. What's amazing about Synchronized is it's one fantastic song after another. If we were back in the days of FM album rock radio, and you had programmers who were smart, they would be playing a number of tracks from Synchronized. This kind of reminds me of the late, I hate to say his name like this now, but the late Brian Howe and the material that he made with Bad Company toward the end of the 80s into the early 90s. Basically, not a lot of filler on the record. Some amazing tracks. The one here where there's a still shot of the video, the song is called Superstar, and like I say, instantly haunting and melodic and singable and unique, and you can go through superlative after superlative. Overland delivers just so well. The other members of this group include Merv Goldsworthy on bass, Pete Jupp on drums, Jem Davis on keyboards, and Jim Kirkpatrick on lead guitar. And if you're a fan of Foreigner, I can't see why you wouldn't like FM. Foreigner, Bad Company, sort of right in there, and that's a nice place to be. There's not a lot of music in the United States that's being made that sounds like this, and there's almost zero music being played on the radio that sounds like FM. So check out their brand new album. It's called Synchronized. You won't be disappointed. It is on the Frontiers music label, one of my favorite record labels, a good bunch of people who put out some fantastic music. They recently released the new Dennis DeYoung album called 26 East, and you can maybe, do a double purchase with the new DDY album and the new FM album. You won't be disappointed in FM. You got to hear it. You can listen to it, obviously, via Spotify, YouTube Music, stuff like that. So there you have it. Again, thanks for watching. I'm trying. I'm a one-man band here when it comes to new music. People aren't listening to new music anymore here in the United States, at least the kind of stuff we grew up listening to. So here I am, doing what I do to try to help the cause. All right, I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more content coming your way.